Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stephen Kimbrough, Executive Creative Director for TMI Partners. All of your video and film and social media imagery expert is who I am. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Alvin and Charmaine here at this wonderful business networking event. And at this time, I'd like to introduce you to the CEO and President of TMI and Partners, who I am very proud to be partnered with. And he's going to tell us a little bit about how this event went today. As a fly on the wall, I thought it was incredibly productive. There were a lot of creative professional business people here. There was a lot of synergies and some networking, and there was some services and products and talent in the house that was able to hook up with each other and create a little bit of e-commerce, I feel. So without any further ado, I would like to turn it over to your host and moderator for the event, Mr. Alvin Hartley.
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate it. First of all, I have to give much thanks to not only I call it the boss when we run these productions, but it's Charmaine. Charmaine is an individual who has, I've known her for so many years, who is focused on making sure that not only a business owner has the opportunity of expanding their business, but an individual. She's always given her heart and her faith into the health and wealth of an individuals. And when that happens in a community, that's very, very important, Steve. So I want to thank you very much for allowing me to come on. But the production itself, the Christian Times Power Breakfast is a brainchild of Charmaine and her staff and Reverend Dillard. I do networking events all the time. But here's the key thing. When you go to a networking event, you want to walk away with something instead of just a bunch of cards. Well, here at the Power Breakfast with Christian Times, so many individuals have walked away with not just business cards, but they walked away with leads. They walked away with relationships. They walked away with business, sales, opportunity, and that was so important. Did I say that right, Charmaine?
You absolutely did. You said it correctly. Yes, you did. We started this day with three goals. The first being everyone was asked to bring a 60-second elevator pitch,
Right, I
and to
remember
have that prepared.
Right.
And so that was one of our goals, that everyone that was in attendance would be able to share that with here with the audience. And the second goal was that every person would be connected with an individual who could use their business.
And they were
we,
connected.
We
They were connected.
needed that to happen.
Yeah.
We wanted them to be able to walk away with a business relationship immediately. Many times when you attend networking events, they're good, but you're not sure if the relationship is going to materialize. You're not sure if you're speaking to the right person. You're not sure how you can possibly work together. And I thought with the elevator pitch, and then everyone hearing that pitch, and then those individuals that are in earshot of the pitch can then say, well, I can actually utilize that business. I need that service. I need that product. I need to get to know more about this individual. I need to do business with this individual. So that was the second goal for the day, is that everyone would walk away with a business relationship, knowing that this was an event that made a difference in their business. And then the third goal today was that everyone would be well versed about the Christian Times, our goals, our mission, and our vision, and they would be able to communicate that. So therefore they would be disciples or ambassadors of the Christian Times. They'll be able to share how when they're in having conversations with their clients, or with their family, or with other business owners, about how the Christian Times can benefit them. And so those were our three goals, and I think I know we actually did accomplish that today.
Steve, what's so exciting about this whole event? Again, people get connected. You go to too many networking events. Again, they say they want to connect, but if there's not a big spoon, and Charmaine and myself, we're like the big spoon in the pot. We take it and we mix everyone up so they can really interact with each other. So I think you know where I'm coming from right there, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, what I have found with a lot of these networking events is there's a lot of posturing and unnecessary bragging and boasting and positioning, and it's mostly about profiling and creating a facade that really helps no one. And if you are just keeping it real with who you are and what your business is and what you offer, and you're very concise, and like you said earlier, you're not selling. You're trying to establish that rapport, build that relationship, and you're more just being yourself and saying what it is that you do and what your lifestyle and your business is about. And then, the rest, you kind of let nature take its course. And I kind of felt that with this networking event today. It was very organic. It wasn't a hard push. It wasn't a used car salesman push. It wasn't like a super snazzy Hollywood pitch. I thought it was, everyone was real and relaxed and confident and comfortable with what it is that they bring to the table, and people were receiving that, very organically. And I really like to see those type of networking events.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Steve, but I know you had some other questions I think you wanted to ask us pertaining to some of the activities that were happening inside. Was there anything particular, Steve, that you really want to ask us?
Yeah, I mean, how did this all come about? Like, when did you first kick off this breakfast networking event?
Well, we actually started in February 2014 was our first one for this year, and we started out just really wanting to help businesses grow. Our local business, our entrepreneurs that are out there really putting forth a lot of energy. And one of the things we noticed was that many times we spend a lot of time, I should say, with building the edifice, developing the product, not fully understanding how to market the product, how to get the product out there. I believe that if you spend the time on the edifice and not spend enough time with getting the message out there, building your following, what happens is that you have this beautiful building or this beautiful office or this wonderful product, but no one knows about it. Not only that, you can't sustain it because you don't have the type of funding necessary to do that. So considering that, understanding that, we said, well, let's do these power breakfasts where we'll have these workshops. So not only is the breakfast delicious, and I know everyone that's here would attest to it, the breakfast is awesome.
Food, Steve.
And it's
food,
free.
Food.
Yes. Yes, it was very good.
Not only is the breakfast awesome, but the workshops, the information that's delivered is practical. They can be applied immediately. We've had micro lenders here. We've had commercial lenders here. We have had
Financial
advisors here. We have had PR, social media training, and everything that comes through here. How do we actually provide the resources that's necessary to see our businesses grow? Because the businesses have to grow in as you mentioned, Steve, in an organic environment. So we wanted to create that environment, and I'm not a gardener, but I do a little bit. And what I do know is that if you prepare your soil and you take the time to understand what you're going to be planting needs, you prepare the soil, you water it, and you give it enough sunlight, it will grow. And not only will it grow, but it will create an abundance. And one seed can actually create an amazing, a provision for years, actually. So using that approach, understanding that we wanted to create that type of environment for the small business owners, for those individuals that are managers of companies, because at the end of the day, it's not just for entrepreneurs, it's for every person that's in business. If you work for someone, or if you have your own business, this is an opportunity for you to be able to expand your market share.
See, something that's very important, Steve. Every time, first, the reason why Shemaine let me come through the door, she said, if anybody can keep anybody's attention, it's Alvin.
Yes.
And if anybody can explain anything, it's Alvin.
Yes.
Okay. I'm still waiting for my $5 that she said she was going to promise me, but that's okay.
It's
My
coming.
point of it is that when you go, and I have to keep on going back to these networking events, Steve, when you go to these events, you want something out of it. And sometimes people explain their business. When they finish explaining their business, no one got it. I learned to listen and then figure it out and then make it simple so the people in the audience understand it. So then that leads to a better lead, right?
Absolutely.
To the individual that actually presented the business. Number two, which is so unique about this event, it's hardcore, Steve. What I mean by hardcore, we get so intense with each other around the table that people said, you know, I've been here for 2 or 3 hours, but I got some potential business. I think we're in business to make money, am I right?
Yes, we are.
So if you're in business to make money, business people sit around talking about business so they can make money. So Steve, and it grew from there. Plus, Charmaine allowed us to do something that was very special. One of our sponsors called Exclusive Travel.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And again, this was something that Charmaine was able to bring to all the business. We were able to, every month we give away, buy one, get one free airline ticket. You can fly anywhere in the world. Buy one, get one free cruise you can buy to go anywhere in the world. And then we give away 7-night stay at 3,500 Resort anywhere in the world. We just give this stuff away. And we say to them, we tell some people, now give it away to maybe your clients.
Absolutely.
Think about it. If they got the certificate, don't spend it, don't use it. You made another sales, give it to your client as a bonus. Okay? So Steve, there's tons of ways that we're really showing small business that you can work on a large level, Steve.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think also too we need to keep in mind kind of the two sides of the fence, which is why we go to networking, expos, conventions, any type of opportunity. We have to get in the habit of setting aside some money and some budgets to go to an event like this to buy something or with the intent to do a contract. It's one of these things where everyone goes to sell, but nobody really is coming there to buy. And what you really need to kind of look at as a business person, and I do this all the time because I'm a gadget man. I cannot go into a camera shop, a computer shop, anything to do with any kind of electronics without wanting to buy something. I'm like an easy target. So whenever I go to a conference like the National Association of Broadcasters or the Consumer Electronics Show, I know there's going to be some incredibly amazing new gadgets that's going to help me do what I do, help me elevate my business and help the evolution of the technology that I want to offer my customers to be cutting edge and competitive. So I'm going there with money to buy something that I know is going to be cool. And I think more like when I go to networking events that that I anticipate that there's going to be something there I want to buy is when the e-commerce really starts to flow. And what I like about what they called money currency is because it's supposed to flow from hand to hand. And that's how we feed our babies. When I have it, I will spend it on feeding my babies. I buy something from you. You're gonna have it. You're gonna feed your babies with it. You're gonna buy something from him. He's gonna feed. So as it comes around, it's called currency because it's supposed to flow. So I think that's that's one thing that I kind of saw in this networking event. When services and products and people's businesses were popping up, it was an immediate like, oh, wait a minute, I need that. And, and I know someone who needs that and they have the money to pay for that. Absolutely. And it's not just everybody coming to pitch.
Here's another key thing, Steve, and Shireen, I think you will go with me on this. We deal with a lot of small business, and every month when we have these workshops or the Power Breakfast, we first put the small business in a $5 million category. That's a frame of mind. Because once you take that mindset to that level, your thinking is different.
Absolutely.
So their questions are different. The way how they talk is different. The way how they engage with each other is different. Opposed to, well, I'm just a small business. No, you're not. You make $5 million a year. So your conversation is different. So when you take it to that level, everything starts to engage. I already had about 4 people says, I'm going to call you. I said, yes, but before you go through all of that, you can call us. We're going to send you a $99 invoice. And they look at me, I said, and the reason for the 99 is so that you give us permission to talk to you. You give us permission to educate you. If someone can't pay $99, then they're not my client. And I'm not making money off of 99. The 99 is a vetting system. Because too many times, everybody wants to talk to us to get information, but they don't want to pay us to get the information. So why do you need to be giving away your information for free? You pay the lawyer, you pay the doctor, you pay everybody else, but you won't pay someone to consult you. But you go pay other folks $500, $600, $800 to consult. But if I come along, you like me, and I'm saying, okay, for me to sit down and talk with you, it's $99. If you can't pay $99, so go ahead.
Which is the norm, because when you look at the top Fortune 1000 companies, they all have R&D budgets. They all have money set aside for development, for focus groups, for analyzing. There's billions of dollars spent on market analyzing before you even draw up a plan for the new product or service. So the normalcy in how business is done at the top is you pay for that intel, for those studies, for that focus group, for those analytics, and then based on that you can decide what direction you want to go, how much money you want to put into it, what needs to be fixed, where your strengths are, your weaknesses. All that is from that money that you paid up front in those, so your 99 is the same. It's analytics, it's R&D, it's an evaluation, it's all those things that you bring to the table with your expertise and experience and your partners who are experts in doing this, that are taking a look at what needs to be done, and there's a value.
And that's
to that.
why we're training a lot of the small businesses, because think about it: if you got 10 people in the month, depending how much what your overhead is, you got 10 people a month paying you $99, and you're only consulting what, 2 hours? That's close to $1,000 you made talking to 10 people. I guess that takes care of the car and the rent. But it takes care of something, and that's the beautiful thing. So, and Shameen with the Christian Times, they're saying, guys, look, you have to brand. You got to put a couple of $100s on the side. Buy this section. Am I right? Buy this section and sit here for the next 6 months.
Absolutely.
And you're going to see the results. But you must sit here.
You do.
If you don't sit here and say ice cream every day, you ain't going to sell no ice cream. But if you come in and say ice cream for one day and then leave and says, I didn't make any sales, you're not going to make any sales.
Absolutely.
And that's the cool thing about what we do. We want to keep pushing them to say, look at a Fortune 500. Look at what they do. You can do the same thing, but you do it on a much simpler level, right?
Exactly.
And a much more affordable level.
Exactly.
And Charmaine, I have a question for you. You were mentioning in your talk and sharing some of your expertise in social media. What are some of the obstacles and stepping stones that small businesses might experience in trying to navigate their way through social media and advertising and using the platforms that's out there that other businesses are just making millions on? What are some of the obstacles and stepping stones that you've noticed with smaller businesses?
Well, I think one of the major things that I noticed in our community is that the money is going out of the community. So unlike what we do here, which is to try to encourage growth within or business within the businesses that are part of this monthly power breakfasts, we're encouraging the money to just stay within this community. And many people walked away from here today doing business with each other. That's money circulating within our community. What most people don't realize is that the social issues that we have happens because of lack of resources staying within the community.
Absolutely.
There's a lack. So it affects us directly and indirectly. So our goal was really to create an environment that is germane, that is organic, that is going to build and encourage growth. That is these the growth that happens is not just in the businesses, but you will see those growths affecting the local community. You will see it affecting legislation. You will see it affecting every area of our life, and that will it will affect our personal life, it will affect our business life, our spiritual lives, and the laws that we have to live under. We, in most of the communities in and around the urban community, we have issues that are particular to those communities, and those issues can be addressed. And I'm getting into the social media piece. Those issues can be addressed through social media. How do we do that? Well, first is we have to start using social media as a platform to, one, increase our business, two, help to bring awareness to our business and our services, and three, which is very, very important, to encourage the resources or the financial investment within our community. Because what happens very often is people will come into our community, but they will not reinvest in our community. So they come, they take the money out, and the money, it goes into other communities, but it's not no longer in that community. So then we see dilapidation, we see the lack, we see all of these various things. We see crime increase. I mean, I can go on, but we don't recognize that all of those things is really tied into the local businesses, the community businesses that are there to serve those businesses. And again, if we use social media as a way and a means to get the word out, to as opposed to me liking a particular brand that does not affect me, why don't I create my brand? Actually, I may have a brand already. So how do I make sure that my friends, my family, my community is supporting my brand? With social media, with Twitter, with Facebook, with all of the various social media tools that we have at our disposal, we can actually encourage that. We can encourage that by these conversations. We can encourage that by postings. I encourage you, when you're posting, if you're going to post something about your church or your business, make sure that you're creating that tagline. It is really not about me. It is about the Christian Times. It is about getting the word out about what we do here, how the Christian Times can empower you, empower your business, give you an opportunity to create a brand for yourself that will go beyond where you even may intend it. It will go beyond that, will create residuals for you and your business. I want to see, and I know Reverend Dillon is committed to seeing our communities be fully empowered financially. And the economic empowerment is an area that has to happen in order for us to see change. And I must say that there's a lot of tools in place right now to bring that to pass. There's been no other time in history where we've had so much technology, and I know, Steve, you will appreciate this, where we've had so much technology, access to technology that can bring about, I mean, it has truly leveled the playing field. The playing field has been leveled. It's been leveled, but we truly don't understand how to utilize these technology to build and grow our business. So that's why we've created this environment to be able to get the word out. Let's start talking about TMI. Let's start talking about the Christian Times. Let's start talking about passionate travel. Let's start talking about our Mary Kay business, the local Mary Kay business owner that was here today. Let's start having these types of conversations, because when we do that, we are actually encouraging the growth, that circle of resources within our own community. And we actually, I have to say this, we each have a responsibility to do that. We have a responsibility to do that individually, and we have a responsibility to do that collectively and divinely.
Steve, I got to add a point. This is so funny. One of the challenges that we have in our communities is that we've lost the opportunity to be farmers. You see, you eat what you kill. If you do not go out there to, like you said, plant it, water it, care for it, harvest it, sell it, it's yours. If you don't do that, you lose, Steve. You lose it all the way across the board. So when you say businesses that are in the community, the businesses that are hiring 15, 20 people, that's a contribution to the community. But the store that only has one man or two people working, making a lot of money, and he lives on Long Island or lives someplace else, and be honest with you, it could be black, white, anybody. I'm going to say across the board, making no contribution because he really didn't hire anybody. Either his family's running the store or whatever else have you. He didn't hire from the community. So that means now the community's suffering. That means my daughter doesn't get a job. My son doesn't get a job. Someone locally doesn't get a job to contribute to the household to keep us going.
Absolutely.
So all of this workshop is what Shameen was saying, is to brand the business locally. This is look at this business. And our job at TMI is to sharpen the business to make them bigger, better, faster, stronger for the mere fact so that when someone comes to you, it's like walking on Fifth Avenue. It's like walking on Wall Street. If we don't walk the walk and talk the talk, we're not going to make the money that we should supposed to be making. Okay? So if you come to my business, you're walking through like you're walking to Wall Street. And every small business can give that, Steve.
Alvin, this question is to you.
Oh, yeah.
What ideas do you have as far as bringing outside money into the community? I like Charmaine's point about supporting each other in the community, but there's money outside of the community that can help the community. What are some ideas to get some of that outside revenue to somehow flow into the community so that that can be even that much more enriched?
I'm glad you brought that up, Steve. As you may already know, we have contracts with several lenders. And we partner with quite a few of these lenders. The lenders educated us on the market that they're going after, and lenders also educate us how small business can qualify for the money. Now that we got that partnership together, we now are going to, again, coming to Shameen and other places so that we can actually say, hey, listen, we need to get a bunch of people together, let's say, look, they got access to this money. It's very, very important. But Steve, here's another thing too, which a lot of the major, well, let me do this first. Shameen and I was going back and forth where Shameen was saying there's not enough of people not lending minorities money. Our company aggressively went out and found lenders that want to lend money to anybody, but specifically minorities. The problem that they have, they weren't qualifying, not for the paperwork, meaning the paperwork they put in front of them, but the individuals didn't have their paperwork in order. They didn't have their taxes in order. They didn't have their bank statement. They didn't have this. They didn't have that. There's so many challenges that they didn't have, so they missed the opportunity. It's not that the money wasn't there, so they missed it. So we came along, we said, let's simplify it. Let's find out where they're weak at and get them strong to get them closer to qualifying for the money. That's the difference. I learned something else too, Steve, and Shameen, I just found this out. I was in a meeting with one of my lenders, and they said, well, about the SBA. He said, let me tell you about the SBA. He said there was questions about, well, the SBA was having a heart attack. Why aren't we lending minorities more money? He broke it down. Shameen, you would love this. He says, the facts are the facts. African-American business owners, small business owners, make roughly $150,000. I'm talking about gross, okay? He said Hispanics is maybe close to about 200,000. Asians maybe about 253, and whites maybe about 400. He said it has nothing to do about color. It has to do, it's the economic. He says the thing about it is that banks and other institutions don't want to lend $25,000. Don't want to lend $50,000. They're not making money, which makes sense. I understand that, but it makes sense. So they went out and they found other companies. They gave them access to a lot of money. It says, you do that. You take the time. You vet those small companies. If they need 50,000, good. If they qualify, we'll give them 50. But we don't have the time to do that. You follow me? So there's so many different things that makes it available for us to make it. I should say, make us make it available for a minority business to get access to money. Steve,
Where can we find you on the web?
I'm gonna let Shameen go first.
You can find us. Sorry. You can find us at NewYorkChristianTimes.com, and that's NewYorkChristianTimes.com.
Steve, you can find us at TMIUM. That's T as in Terry, MIUM.com. You can find us there, or you can call area code 347-234-5304. That's area code 347-53. Oh my goodness, 347-234-5304.
All right.
How
very
you like
good.
that, Steve?
I liked it. I liked it.
And our phone number is 718-638-6397. Again, that number is 718-638-6397. That's 718-638-6397.
Nice.
Yes, Steve, but she doesn't have that professional voice like me.
That's all right. Not everybody can be Alvin Hartley. And that's
Well, thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I think they broke the mold on you when you were here. Well, it was a pleasure interviewing you guys, and much love and success and continued blessings on everything you're trying to do with your Christian networking. I am the Pod Brother, a.k.a. Steve Kimbrough, or you got that backwards. You can reach me at podbrother.com or kmgienterprises.com. And our film company is sec3denterprises.com. So it was a pleasure, and we're going to pack it all up, get out there, and try to make some money, get some money going.
Some money.
Make some money.
Make some money.
Thank you. Thank you.